Hi guys, I hope everything's going well with you. So what I'm doing today is I've made some design adjustments to the choice, not to the skirt, but to this area right here. I'm wanting to take these princess seams out of this short skirt. And the reason I want to do that is because I already have a design line here. I have a design line there. I have a design line there. And then the hemline. And it's just too busy for me. So I'll show you what I'm attempting to do. What I'm attempting to do, and I'm using a store-bought pattern let's see if I can get you a better picture, by McCall's. Since this is not for me, I took the liberty to use a pattern for a portion of the dress. So this one without the mesh overlay mimics what we're going to be doing. And it's just too busy right here with all of these design lines. And I'm hoping that once I lay this down, so what I've done with the pattern is I've taken that part out. In laying it out, let's see if I'm trying to get y'all a good picture of this. In laying that out, what I did was overlay them together here on the size that I need, which is a 20. And this will be the dart. I'll make a dart root in just a minute, but right here starts the dart for this dart leg, and this is the dart for this dart leg. And then once I put it on the mannequin, adjust it to the top, I'll know how deep I want that that dart root to go, or the vanishing point to go. And so I'm going to give it a try. I'm cutting it out on muslin, so no harm, no foul if it doesn't work. But that's just my hope that it does. I think that will give me a better, not just a better product in the end, but also better options for adding that lace when we get to that point. So I just don't want there to be too much busyness on the dress itself. And if it doesn't work, we'll just go back to the original pattern. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just looking for other options. So I'm in the process of pinning this down. I'm going to go ahead and pin the back one. That's the back, and this is the side back. So I'm going to go ahead and pin these down and cut them out, sew them up, and see how they look with the bodice top. Okay, once I've done that, I will I'll either cut out the patterns separately and sew them up with a princess seam down the short skirt, or I will be able to go ahead and cut out my fashion fabric in the same manner. So that's what I'm doing. How are you guys doing today? Have you been busy today? One lady I talked to today, she actually had today off. So she was kind of resting and relaxing. And, sometimes you have to do that, right? All right, so let's do this. Again, this is just a sample, but I'm hoping that it works. I'm really hoping that it works. This is just my muslin. Also, what I'm going to do is cut out. I've got some extra fabric on my bridal fabric. So what I'm going to do is start another bodice top. I should say bodice. I'm going to start another bodice with some of the leftover bridal fabric that I have and get started on the second gown. Not quite sure about all the details, but I definitely want to get it cut out and get it lined. I think I'll probably have a lace overlay on this completely, and then we'll just work on the skirt. All right, so this is where we're at. Again, this is going to be the beginning of my dart here. This is center front. It's just a notch, so I can match it up with the back when the time comes. I just need to move this out the way. Okay, and then my other dart section will start. I'm going to have to finagle this around here. So let me cut this out on this. It's right here. Let me mark that. I can mark this because this is only a sample. I want to show you something. When the cutting lines are fractured like this, it helps to get a pen or a marker before you lay it out on fabric. And but since this is a muslin, it's no problem. And mark the line that you're actually going to be cutting, so you have the amount of fabric that you need when you get to your sewing it together. Okay, so mine is going to end right here, and it starts right here. No, starts right here. So I'm just going to take my ruler and I'm going to mark where that cut line is. And some of it just intersects, so you just have to go with that. But my line ends right here, so that's my 20 line, right? Okay, so we're going right here. That's where a plastic ruler really comes in handy. Okay, so I've got my line marked. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Most people don't video their mistakes, but I guarantee you, mistakes are made in sewing. Okay, so there's my, my dart leg starts there. And this actually, I'm cutting out a 20, so I'm going to have to move my pins over and cut off this excess here. Another thing you can do, rather than cut your pattern up, I got this for $1.99 at Joann's, so I'm not too concerned about it. But another thing that you can do, so now the other thing that you can do when it comes to your patterns is you can trace them off on, let me see if I can show you a piece of board. You can trace them off and save them as a hard copy. I got this from, it's a big old roll, but anyway, I got this from Walmart. It's a banner roll. They use it for posters. But you can unroll this and trace your pattern, transfer your pattern to this, which is a lot more sturdy than tissue paper. And then just keep it in your stash of patterns. So if you have a pattern that has multiple sizes like this one, it has a 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22, then what you'll do is take each pattern piece and trace off the 14, cut it out of your banner roll and set it aside. Trace off the 16 with all the notches and everything, instructions, and set it aside and just cut them all out in a banner roll like this. That way you can use it for if you happen to need a larger size or a smaller size because of weight gain or weight loss, you know, body shifting, having babies, all the things that happen to bodies and things like that. Or if you have a client that you want to try something out on, you'll have the size based upon the circumference of the body. You'll have the size that they need or something close to it that you can work with and adjust it to fit them better. So this is a great option as well. I plan on doing this. I just haven't had time to do it, but I do certainly plan on doing this as well. Or you can get oak. It's called Oak Tag from Amazon. It comes by the roll, and you can do the same thing just to keep your tissue papers, keep from having to cut up your tissue paper pattern. All right. I got the wrong scissors. Look at that jagged edge right there. I got the wrong scissors for sure. That is not going to work for me. Okay. Those gray scissors, I think they're more like for arts and crafts. They tend to pull to the side, and I'm surprised about that. It never occurred to me that scissors could pull to the side, but these certainly do. They're Westcott. I got these at Walmart. I have a Walmart right up the street, but I got these at Walmart, and they weren't expensive, but they certainly, for me, they don't cut well on patterns and that type of thing. Paper, they cut great. Thicker fabrics maybe, but they have never really been useful for me for anything but paper. So you should have a paper and a fabric scissor. All right, enough of that. Okay, so we've got the skirt cut out. Hope you can see it. We've got the skirt front and the skirt side. Now I'm going to cut out the skirt back and the side back. Just gonna start right here. I know I'm in the camera, so I apologize for that. Let's see, I'll put you down here. Will that give you a better view? Absolutely it will. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Just gonna keep knocking this out. And again, thank you guys for the likes on the blue dress. I am just amazed at the activity that little dress is getting. That was never my expectation or my motivation, but I'm thankful. I thank the Lord for it. I really do. I'm going to tell you my testimony, my story concerning my escapades at the apparel construction school that I went to. I'll tell you that one day when I can tell you the benefits of it as well. Right now, it's still a little challenging. It's still a little challenging, but nevertheless, God knows how to make everything work together for the good. Okay. Well, I guess I'll tell you a little bit. It's not fair for me to leave you hanging like that. So I will tell you somewhat of it. And somewhat of it is that, this is where my dart's going to go. Somewhat of it is that when I entered that course, my intention was to go to apparel construction and learn how to design bridal gowns. What I didn't know was that my instructor was student specific. So there were students that she was willing to help and students she wasn't willing to help. And I didn't know that until later in the course. And so by the time I found out, it was a little too late. Well, I'm not going to say it was a little too late, but by the time I found out, it was quite disconcerting. I'll put it like that. And so I kind of had to learn some things on my own, take my instruction into my own hands, and it was just not a pretty sight. And I learned at that point that sometimes when you have a dream, you have a vision, you have a plan, you might have to fight. You might have to fight to get it done. You might have to fight to get it done. Not everybody is going to be on your side. Not everybody's going to be rooting for you. Not everybody's going to be in the stands, cheering you on. But what I want you to know is that don't give up on your dream, no matter who's on your side or not. Keep going for it, taking one step at a time. For me, it's one stitch at a time. One stitch at a time. One garment at a time. One lesson at a time. One project at a time. What you don't know, you can always learn. I promise you that. What you don't know, you can always learn. That goes here. And then this goes down here. Isn't it wonderful though with all of the technology we have available today, that you can really learn what you thought you didn't have opportunity to learn, and you can always go back to school and get some training that way, grab some books from the library, excuse me, that are free. Plenty of ways to get the deed done, guys. Don't let anybody stop you from moving towards your desires and your dreams. Keep moving forward or forward. You keep moving forward. If I'm saying forward, my mom used to say that. She was from the South, and she used to say, keep moving forward. And boy, every time she did, I would laugh my head off. It was just so funny to me. I would say, Mama, what do you mean keep moving forward? What's forward? She'd say, shut up, Danette Lorraine. And I just laughed. She would smirk about it, but I just laughed. That was just the funniest thing to me. Shut up, Danette Lorraine. Okay, Mama. So you keep moving forward, as my mama would say. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the recording right now. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sew these up. I'm going to mark all of my dots and notches and squares. I'm going to sew up the skirt, and then I'm going to put her on the mannequin that we have right now. The underlining, this would be the underlining on the mannequin that we have right now, and I'll show you where we're at. And I may have time actually to do the underskirt. The circular skirt, but we'll see. Okay, so let me show you what I've got, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. That was an epic fail, and the reason why is because, not the concept, but the sewing. The darts don't match up with the darts on, can you see me? Can you see me? The darts on the skirt do not match up with the dart of the top here. Now I could take it in a whole lot more than it was. That would be quite a bit in order to get that to fit. But I could do that just for the underskirt, and then make the adjustment on the pattern. So that would be my dart. We're talking about on the back to the side. So the side would be here, the dart would be here. That will still have to come in just a bit more. Just showing you some options before I go ahead and draft the skirt. Okay, maybe it would be better if you draft the bodice. Just go ahead and draft the skirt too. Okay. All right, so anyway, this is just a sample. Here is this is how much dart I would have to take up. That's quite a bit, but this is my back. See how small that is? The waistline on the mannequin is 31 and a half, I believe. So if I take up the dart to this extent, I could probably transfer some of that to the side seam actually. But if I take up the dart to this extent, then it would fit. That might be what I do. Maybe I'll just transfer some of that excess to the side seam. And then that way, I've got a fit at the back. I've got a fit at the dart. And then my side seam. I'm going to have to figure this out, guys. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this with you. This is where I'm ending. I'm in the process then of drafting the skirt or adjusting the pattern. And you'll see that on next Wednesday. Which one I decided to do. There'll be something on the mannequin for you to look at. Right now, this would be what we have, which is I'm not going to change the bodice because I love it just like it is. So we're going to have to make an adjustment on the skirt. So we're going to leave the bodice here. We're not going to change that. We're going to make the adjustment to the skirt. Okay. And you can see I've got some lace attached to the bodice. And then I'm going to go with the smaller lace and do some detailing with that. And, oops, come on. Okay, so we're going to leave the bodice as it is. Again, I'm working with this lace, considering a mesh top here and on the back. We've got options. Okay, so that's what we're kind of looking at here now. And you can see why. Let me bring the camera up a little closer so you can see this a little better. So you can see, isn't that lace just gorgeous? It's got beautiful sparkle on it. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not. Maybe if there we go. Maybe if I tip it. There we go. You can see it a little better. But anyway, so we are considering, the top is fine. We're not changing that. This lace right here has beat out the other lace I was considering. However, there is another lace that I'm looking at ordering. I'm thinking about doing a mesh top here in the bodice and covering it with lace. I'm not sure. It'll all work out. But that's what we're going to do. So we're going to work on the skirt. I'm determined to get those lines out of that skirt. on our picture here. If it turns out that that's not really a good idea because maybe the darts would leave too much fabric in the hip line, then I'll just have to work with it and reconsider my plan to get to the end. Sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to reconsider how you're going about it to get to your final product. And it's okay to make changes. All right, so that's where we're going to leave you today. Next week, we will have the underskirt right here. We'll have the underskirt. We'll have the under bodice. And we will have the fashion fabric cut out with the circular skirt attached to Miss Margaret here. All right, until then, she's kind of lean and a little wonky here. I don't know why. Come on, Miss Margaret. So Miss Margaret will be dressed much more appropriately next time we meet. Until then, have a blessed day. I'm sorry this was kind of a boring video today. I apologize for that. Hopefully next week it'll be a little bit more exciting. All right. God bless you.